And we say good morning to you. We are broadcasting live in studio again today. Tomorrow, Lingerfeld Drug Center will be there tomorrow, but today we're back here in studio, Tom Dota Sports Show studio, show number 2002. Thanks for being with us wherever you may be. Again, on this cold 14-degree, where we are right now, Wednesday morning. It's going to get even colder. Yeah, we'll tell you about the weather forecast here in a second. But we're here today, going to be joined by Andy Stanko from Milligan University. The bottom of the hour, top of the hour, going to be joined by Greg Sager. Our Wednesday installment of Major League Baseball. He is predicting one of the divisions, top to bottom. I think it's the American League East, I think. And then we'll be joined by Eddie Morrell, the wrestling coach from Elizabethton. So, all right, here in the Tom Taylor Sports Show, again on this Wednesday. Birthdays today. Folks that have gone on but would have a birthday today, famous people. Muhammad Ali. What was it? Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You can't hit what you can't see. Muhammad Ali's birthday is today. Ben Franklin is a birthday boy today. Al Capone is a birthday boy today. And from the Golden Girls fame, among other things, she was also on Mary Tyler Moore, funny lady Betty White, who's passed on. She would have had a birthday today. Who is having a birthday today? Your birthdays today would include James Earl Jones. What a voice. He's got the pipes. James Earl Jones, 92 today. Steve Harvey, funny guy from West Virginia, no less, 66 today. Jim Carrey having a birthday, 61, and Kid Rock's having a birthday. Kid Rock, I don't know what his real name is, but Kid Rock has 52 candles on his birthday cake here on this Wednesday, January the 17th, 2024. There's your birthdays. James Earl Jones, Steve Harvey, Jim Carrey, and Kid Rock. Our birthday boys today here on this Wednesday, as we said. Another, as far as weather, another system coming in here. Tomorrow night into Friday could be interesting. They're starting with freezing rain tomorrow night. It's going to change over to snow early Friday morning. The timing of the snow will be more of an impact than the amount. Accumulations expected Friday morning, 1 to 3 in the Tri-Cities and 4 to 6 in the mountains. Snow showers continuing Friday, much higher totals in the mountains due to an upslope wind, which will be more than double the snow accumulation. Snow showers will continue on Saturday with more accumulations likely, mainly in the mountains. So again, we're talking 1 to 3 here in the Tri-Cities and 4 to 6 in the mountains. Temperatures over the weekend to be very cold. Mid to upper teens on Saturday are the highs, below zero temperatures on Saturday night. We told you about that yesterday. But then you look here, yeah, look at this, I love it. Monday, 42. Next Tuesday, 50. Next Wednesday, a week from today, we're talking upper 50s to near 60. We're going to make it. It's going to be okay. It's going to be cold. We get another round. It's going to warm up a little bit today, not much. Another round, as I said, of rain and snow overnight tomorrow night into Friday. So we may be right back here. Tomorrow we'll be at Lingerfeld Drug Center. Know that for sure. We'll be there broadcasting live tomorrow. Friday's show may be right here. Brought to you by Food City. All right, National Anthem. We'll jump in and talk college basketball. Go first. We got the NFL, a lot of NFL news. The coaching carousel continues. There's all that coming up here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Again, we're live in studio. The updated schedule for Cyclone basketball has not been told to me yet, so I'm not sure when we're going to make up these games. We have a Friday night off on the schedule anyway, but the team, Tennessee High, has a game scheduled on Friday, so I don't know if we're going to be able to do that one or not. I would assume not. So, but anyway, we'll let you know when we find out they're ready to play basketball again. We'll let you know. Loretta Bowers, front and center, ma'am. The National Anthem on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and the bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
At Northeast Community Credit Union, we know the importance of taking care of your family and building our community. Are you remodeling your home, trading cars for your next road trip, or maybe you're considering an in-ground pool or a boat for the lake? Our loans are easy, fast, and convenient with the lowest payments around. Act now before rates go up. Apply online at bmycu.org, call us, or come see us in Elizabethton, Johnson City, or Rome Mountain. We have the loan you need.
Hi, I'm Heather, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is getting the perfect bite. It's probably not the first bite, it's the second or the third, with the juicy chicken and the delicious pickle. The bite with the pickle is it. I mean, that is like the magic combination.
And back with the Tom Douglas Sports Show. We are live here in studio today. The Tom Douglas Sports Show studio. See on the screen, show number 2002. On our way to 2,500, I guess, will be the next milestone. After that, we'll see what we're going to do. But I think we'll roll to the 2,500th show. At that point, either we'll ride off into the sunset or whatever. So we'll see. But that's a ways off, probably another year or so, I guess, of doing this. Let's take a look at college basketball last night. Bryce Van Huss, we had him on the show yesterday, told us, look out for a great performance, and we got one last night. If you're a Tennessee ball fan, Dalton Knecht, 39 points. He had 36 down in Georgia. He connects for a career high, 39 points and 8 rebounds. Tennessee all over Florida, 85-66. 12th straight win at home for the Volunteers at Thompson-Boling. They now go to 13-4, 3-1 in the Southeastern Conference. Florida falls to 11-6 and 1-3 in the league. They've not won in Knoxville since 2014. It's been 10 years. Won't be this year either. Now they'll play each other again back in Gainesville later on in the season. But Knecht averaging 32 points in the 2 games last week. SEC Co-Player of the Week for those performances, rather. Adu had 19 points and 10 rebounds to help the Volunteers. Again, win their 12th straight at home. The Gators, led by Walter Clayton, with 16. Knecht in the first half had 9 out of 10 field goals, including 3 3-pointers, scored 22 points in the first half. Went on to score 17 in the second half. The guy is unbelievable. Transfer in, of course. And so he's the deal. And this basketball team right now, he's putting this team on his shoulders, and away they go. Volunteers will be at home on Saturday with the battle against Alabama at Thompson-Boling Arena. 4 upsets last night. 4 in top 25. So you come off of last week and all the upsets and all the shifting in the AP polls. Well, a big night last night, another big night tonight. But last night, 4 teams went down. Led by top 10, number 9, Baylor. The Bears got beat on the road at Kansas State in overtime, 68-64. 11th ranked Wisconsin on the road at Penn State got beat by 4, 87-83. 16th ranked Utah State goes to New Mexico and loses big time by 13. 99-86, and then 19th ranked TCU. The Horned Frogs go into Cincinnati. The Bearcats got them in overtime, 81-77. So 4 more lose last night. Tennessee won. Second-ranked Purdue, a 21-point win over Indiana. 21st-ranked Dayton, the Flyers, a 2-point win over St. Louis. Third-ranked Kansas goes into Oklahoma State and beats the Cowboys by 24. In a battle of top 25s, 20th-ranked BYU defeated Iowa State by 15. But again, 4 lose last night. TCU, Baylor, Wisconsin, and Utah State. Who plays tonight? Got a couple tonight. Hello, Thomas Stout. Hello to Jimmy Stout. Hello to Frank Peters, Brenda Grindstaff. Hello, darling. Tonight, top 25 basketball. Who plays? Top-ranked UConn. The Huskies at home against the 18th-ranked Creighton Blue Jays. All right. Another top 25 matchup. 5th-ranked Houston. The Cougars at home against the 25th-ranked Red Raiders of Texas Tech. That's in Houston. 8th-ranked Kentucky, Rupp Arena, hosting Mississippi State. 22nd-ranked Ole Miss on the road at LSU tonight. 15th-ranked Oklahoma, home to the Mountaineers of West Virginia. 13th-ranked Auburn tonight on the road. Bruce Pearl and the boys in Nashville to battle Vanderbilt. 4th-ranked North Carolina, the Tar Heels have Louisville at home in the Dean Dome. And 12th-ranked Arizona entertaining Southern Cal tonight. So that's your top 25. The featured game, of course, will be the number 1 team in the country, the UConn Huskies, taking on the Creighton Blue Jays, number 1 versus 18 tonight in Connecticut. Kentucky out of the Southeastern Conference, taking on Mississippi State. Ole Miss at LSU in the SEC, Auburn at Vanderbilt. And the 4th-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels, which obviously have righted the ship. They struggled over the last couple of years. Obviously, that's not the case. They're getting it done. And they will be at home tonight against the Louisville Cardinals. Let you know tomorrow. We'll be at Lingerfield Drug Center tomorrow. Live there. Friday, don't know yet. Depends on the weather. Maybe right back here. Wherever we'll be sponsored by the good folks at Food City. So we'll see how it goes. Roads, depending on where you are, some of the main thoroughfares are better, but it's still 14 degrees outside. The sun's out. Well, that warms things up. It does, but it's still 14 degrees. So use your, again, as I told you yesterday, most of the folks watch this show are licensed drivers, so you do what you need to do and go where you need to go. I saw some video last night of the interstates backed up, the tractor trailers yesterday. I thought, man, they can have that. And it was up there on 81 between, looked like between Colonial Heights and the airport exit. As far as you could see, they had somebody taking a shot on the road. As far as you could see, in both lanes, just standing still, setting. I thought, nope, not this chick. They can have it. So, but sometimes you get in a situation, you didn't want to be there anyway. And they get people traveling, get caught up in that. So it's not we intentionally or they intentionally drove. So let's go sit in a traffic jam. So obviously that's not the case. But if I can avoid those kind of things, you better believe I will. Container Man. Let's talk about him for a second before we go to the break. Container Man. Waste roll-off containers. We drop, you load, we haul away. And that's a great way to do it. Locally owned and operated by our buddy George Gwynn, one of our great sponsors here on the show, of course. Goes all over the Tri-Cities and drops these containers. You fill them up, you call him back, and he comes and hauls them away. I mean, you can't get any better than that. I remember back in the day when we were in the hills of West Virginia, you had to load up stuff and take it to the dump. Maybe they still do, I don't know. Made those endless trips to the dump, hauling junk. We didn't want to have it anymore. Well, in this case right here with George and the folks at Container Man, you just simply call him at 431-9267. 431-9267, and they'll come drop this container. You fill it up, you call them, say it's full, and they come by and get it. Can't beat that, folks. Brush, wood, construction debris, tires, trash, unwanted items, whatever. Clean out a building. I know at Milligan, when kids move in, move out, they are the official container company, for lack of a better term, of Milligan University. Container Man. You call, we haul. 431-9267, or check them out on the web at containermantn.com. Appreciate George and the folks being with us. And he's got these containers all over the Tri-Cities. Kingsport, Johnson City, Jonesboro, in Elizabethton, Gate City, Irwin, Bristol, Mountain City, Butler, Roan Mountain. See them everywhere. 431-9267. You call, we haul. I love that. Our show brought to you today by the good folks at Chick-fil-A. They are open to regular hours to 9 o'clock tonight. And so we are here, they are there, and we'll be back with them on Monday. We'll be back at Chick-fil-A in Elizabethton on Monday. But today we're here, but we can still tell you about the great food at Chick-fil-A. Coming up in about 6 or 7 minutes, we'll take a look with our buddy Andy Stanko, what's going on at Milligan University, an update there on their women's and men's basketball teams, the bowling team, and the swim team. So what's going on there? He'll, again, showcase those 4 teams and drop a lot of names, let you know a lot of these are local kids, by the way. Hello, Laura Bailey. Hello to Thomas Stout. And then also you will hear from Greg Sire coming up at the top of the hour. Major League Baseball, we're going to break down one of the divisions. It's time. You know, pitchers and catchers, they report now within, 3 or 4 weeks. So Major League Baseball spring training right around the corner, which is very exciting, to say the least. And so we'll talk to Greg about that breakdown. I think it's the American League East will break it down. Then later on, Eddie Morrell joins us, the head wrestling coach at Elizabethton High School. Got the big invitational coming up on Saturday, weather permitting, of course, with all the snow and ice and cold temperatures. We'll see if it's still on. The John Clark Classic, the invitational wrestling tournament named in honor of the late Elizabethton coach. So that's all straight ahead. Plus, we got NFL football. We're going to break them down for you. The coaching carousel continues. Interesting, Jim Harbaugh's only had 2 teams asked to interview him. The Atlanta Falcons and the Los Angeles Chargers. It's interesting. On the flip side, I've got the list for you. We'll go through it here in a little while on the show. On the flip side, Dan Quinn, the Cowboys defensive coordinator, 4 or 5 teams are interviewing him. It's interesting. Belichick interviewed with the Atlanta Falcons. That's the only one I saw on the list that anybody wanted to talk to him. So, including what was really interesting is my team. I'm really not surprised, but I am to a point because nothing surprises me with the Raiders. Neither Belichick or Harbaugh were on the requested list to be interviewed. And I may be doing it on the QT, I don't know, but the printed list out of interview candidates for these head coaching jobs for the Raiders, neither Belichick or Harbaugh were on the list, which I find very, very interesting. Not surprising because it's the Raiders. They do crazy stuff. That's why we never win. There's no consistency. But anyway, it is what it is. Quick break right back after this. We'll take a look at something over here. We got lots to talk about. We'll save the NFL after Andy Stanko. There's a lot of NFL news. Playoffs coming up this weekend, the divisional playoffs. So we'll take a look at, I know what we'll take a look at. A little bit of NASCAR next on the Tom Noda Sports Show.
Hey, my name is Dante, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A nuggets is the authentic taste of it. You can tell it's freshly breaded, seasoned perfectly, and it just has this unique taste that compares to no other. Once I bite into it,
My name is Meredith, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese is the oven-toasted, cheesy top layer. If home had a flavor, it would be Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese. I'm passionate about it.
My name is Michael Vance, Vice President of Advanced Heat Pump Systems. Advanced Heat Pump Systems has been open and providing service for over 35 years. The services we provide are installation and service of home heating and cooling systems. Our company's goal is to provide quality service for our customers. The reason you should hire Advanced Heat Pump Systems is because we offer a dependable, quality, trained technician to service your heating and air conditioning.
Hi, my name is Brian, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese is you can taste the different types of cheeses and the blends that they use, and everything just comes together. It's like a delicate dance. They're like perfection in every bite.
I'm Dr. Beth Cannon with Cannon Family Dental. I've been in practice here for going on 11 years now. We do offer Invisalign here, which is basically an alternative to traditional braces. Invisalign's a wonderful option for adults especially, but we also have a lot of teenagers that are really benefiting from Invisalign because They don't want to deal with braces at school. Some of them are embarrassed by having the metal. So we've had a lot of patients coming to us and, am I a good candidate? I promise I'll wear them like I'm supposed to. And to be honest, the ones we have in Invisalign right now have been fantastic patients. It's a real straightforward product. We monitor your progress just to make sure everything's going how it needs to be going. And I'm sure you've seen the commercials on TV for the alternatives to Invisalign, but most of those can cause us a lot of problems that you aren't even aware of if you're trying to kind of take it on yourself. So we highly recommend that you see a dentist and we can make sure there's no problems happening. Most of the time it's either there's a lot of crowding with your teeth, especially on the lower, or there's a lot of unwanted spacing between your teeth that's causing food to get trapped and things like that you want to correct, because everybody wants that Hollywood smile. And Invisalign is an amazing way to be able to get to that point. So if you're interested in Invisalign or you just have some questions, definitely feel free to call the office and set up an appointment. Our consultations for Invisalign are at no cost. We would love to have you come in and get to meet everyone and make sure that's something that you're really interested in doing.
Back with the Tom Dolan Sports Show again in studio today. Tomorrow, Lingerfield Drug Center broadcasting live. Tomorrow, Friday will be somewhere, either here or at a Food City, because it's Food City Friday. Depends on the weather. Amazon overnight. Amazon's hello, Nick Lingerfield. How you doing, sir? Travis Constable says the Raiders will get Vrabel. Couldn't go wrong with that one. So, and hopefully, if the Raiders get him, Derrick Henry will come with him. We got a story about Derrick Henry. He wants to continue to play. He wants to get on a team that wants to play for a Super Bowl. I don't know if the Raiders that team. I don't think they're ready to make that step yet. I wish they were, but I don't think so. But I would think wherever his coach goes, he loves his coach. He may follow him, and maybe the Raiders will get him. Let's see. Find out. Hello, Kerry Taylor. My buddy Kerry, Laura Bailey, Thomas Stout, Jimmy Stout down in Georgia, Frank Peters. All right, Amazon jumps in and bails out Diamond Sports, going to partner with them. Why is that important to you? Because of your favorite team you've been watching this season. You may get a chance to watch them again. Amazon will partner with Diamond Sports as part of a restructuring agreement as the largest owner of regional sports networks. They look to emerge from bankruptcy. Diamond Sports owns 18 networks under the Bally Sports banner. These networks have the rights to 37 professional teams, 11 baseball, MLBs, 15 NBA teams, and 11 National Hockey League teams. Amazon says we'll jump in there and help. The agreement with Diamond Sports' largest creditors allows it to emerge from bankruptcy, continue operations, and prevent a total collapse at the regional sports network, where the NBA, National Hockey League, and Major League Baseball would have to step in and take over production and distribution of most of the teams. So Diamond Sports in trouble. Amazon, with obviously deep pockets, steps up and says, we'll take care of you. We're going to help you out. Hello, Gator Man. How you doing, sir? So, there you go. That's what's going on there with Amazon, helping out Diamond Sports. So it looks like, which doesn't break down the teams, at 11 Major League Baseball teams, 15 NBA teams, and 11 National Hockey League teams. So there you go. Let's see, college football. The exit continues at Alabama. The safety, Caleb Downs, second-team All-American in his freshman season, leaving, heading to the transfer portal. Downs earning a starting safety spot as a true freshman last year, the first known freshman to lead the team in tackles. First-team All-Southeastern Conference, named the SEC's Newcomer of the Year, gone. Finished fourth in the SEC in tackles with 107, leaving Alabama. Don't know where he's headed, but he's leaving. He's going to get in the transfer portal. Ross Bjork, athletic director, Texas A&M, leaving there to go to Ohio State, be their new athletic director. Got a new president. Said we're looking for a change, going a different direction. New president Ted Carter from Ohio State says I want a new and a different kind of look in the athletic department, whatever that means. The retirement of longtime athletic director Geno Smith. Bjork's got a lot of experience in the Southeastern Conference. That may be what he's talking about. He's worked at Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Also, athletic director of Western Kentucky, and before that, an assistant AD at UCLA, Miami, Missouri. So Ross Bjork, the new athletic director at Ohio State. So if you're a Buckeye fan, you're probably excited about that. To tell you that you're falling in big shoes would be an understatement. Geno Smith retiring in July. By the way, they're going to transition. He'll take over July 1st. Ohio State, which has 36 sports, has won 32 team and 117 individual national championships during Smith's tenure. It's pretty impressive, to say the least. So anyway, new athletic director at Ohio State, Ross Bjork. Most of us could care less, but if you're a Buckeye fan, I'm sure you're very interested in that development. All right, NASCAR news. Before we take a break, we got Andy Stanko coming up, talking Milligan sports next. Last July, when Justin Haley announced he would drive for Rick Ware Racing, 16, 17 days away? February the 4th, they started with the Busch Light Classic at the Coliseum in L.A. So Rick Ware Racing confirming Haley will drive the number 51 Ford Mustang. Crew chief will be Chris Lawson. So there you go. If you're a Justin Haley fan or Rick Ware Racing fan, you now have your driver and crew chief officially for the number 51 ride. Again, February the 4th will be the start with the Busch Light Classic at the Coliseum in L.A., which is that weekend after next. Is that right? Yep. And then I'm looking here at the Daytona 500 schedule. Qualifying for the Daytona 500 starts on Valentine's Day, February the 14th, obviously, which will be this year on a Wednesday. So the NASCAR season right around the corner, getting ready to start 2024. Guess you know by now they've dumped the dirt. They're going back to concrete at Bristol Motor Speedway, which I think is a really good move. The novelty was there. It worked for a while, hoping to jumpstart the attendance. It did a little bit. But, again, you're always dealing with the weather in the spring at Bristol. So, you know, it ran its course. The drivers I think the first year they liked it. After that, it's like, okay, we've tried it. It is what it is. Let's go back to concrete. And they tried it, I think, a little while longer. I can't remember how many years it was up to the dirt. But clearly everybody, the fans, were clamoring to put the concrete, go back to concrete, get rid of the dirt. The drivers wanted it, so Bristol heard it, listened, and that's what they're doing. So the spring race, which will be a night race on St. Patrick's Day, they were wise enough. Let me say this about BMS before we go to the break here. They caught a lot of flack over having the race on Easter, and I was one of them. So probably the Christian calendar, I know Christmas is big, but the death, burial, and resurrection is a whole lot bigger, in my opinion. And yet they had the races on Easter Sunday, and everybody's, I can't believe it, and I get that. But in defense of Bristol Motor Speedway, the schedule comes down off the mountain from NASCAR. They set the schedule, and you as a track just have to abide by what they send to you. You don't have a choice. I guess you can call back and say, I don't know what they do, but the schedule is set by NASCAR. So can you argue the point? I guess you can. Didn't do any good, I don't guess, because they didn't change it. So just in defense of Bristol Motor Speedway, and everybody said, I can't believe they did the race on Easter Sunday, and I can't either, but it wasn't Bristol's call. It's NASCAR's call. So if you're upset with somebody, that would be the one you'd want to be upset with because it was NASCAR's call. First today, we always dedicate our show to the man who hung on the cross. 1 John 3:18 says, Dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth. Don't talk the talk, walk the walk. It's interesting with the verse right before it says, if someone out there that you know that needs something and you don't give it to them and help them out in terms of material possessions, how can you have the love of God in you? That's really very true. And the verse to follow up says, Dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth. 1 John 3:18, the verse today. Andy Stanko next on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We'll head that way with our buddy. Cold weather's still coming. Let's go back through and run through again. Let's go back up and catch this one. He's done two for us. And I want you to hear what Mike has to say about Big John's closeouts, about winter weather, because we got another round coming. In fact, to be quite honest with you, this may be colder than what we've got now. In fact, it is going to be colder. It's down around, we're talking negatives on the air temperature on Sunday morning. So it's going to be cool. But again, look at the calendar, look at the forecast. Monday, back up around the 40s, 50s, and 60s by the middle of next week. We're going to be okay. Said this 3 or 4 times on the phone yesterday. I said, look, we're not in Alaska where this stays weeks and months like this. We've hit a little blip on the screen. Winter weather here in East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, Western North Carolina. Yes, it's tough to get through it. It's cold, it's snowy, it's icy. But next week, unlike Alaska and these other places, next week we will be in the 50s and 60s, and I'm okay with that. Andy Stanko next on the Tom Taylor Sports Show from Milligan University. We're talking to our buddy Mike Barnett, great sponsor of the Tom Taylor Sports Show and Cyclone Sports. Winter 2024, it's here. What can you help us with all winter long from Big John's Closeouts?
Well, when you start thinking about winter, naturally you're looking at not only trying to save on energy, but you're also looking and trying to protect and eliminate problems, broken water lines, piping, whatever it may be. When you start thinking about trying to get a heads up on, energy conservation, insulation. We stock Owens Corning fiberglass insulation and everything from R13 to R30 and on up in different widths, 16 and 24-inch widths. We also have a pretty good supply of your basic replacement windows from Silverline. These are low E insulated glass. They can be tilted out to clean, things of that nature. People would be surprised how much air loss they have and heat loss with older windows.
I can't hear you.
Sealed or could be single pane. A lot of our older homes were built many, many years ago. They use storm windows and single pane wood windows. We can order windows to any size that you would want within 1/4 of an inch, so they'll fit right in the openings that you have. Not just insulating ceilings when we start talking about insulating, but insulating floor, crawl spaces where you have drafts that will come up and will push your heat out as far as that nature goes. When we're talking about trying to protect yourself from upcoming issues with your water lines or other things of that nature, there's a lot of things you can do. A lot of them are familiar with your regular wrap-on pipe insulation.
Oh, I'm using the computer, not the phone.
A little roll of pipe insulation, you wrap your pipes,
Okay.
You put duct tape around it and you go on. But a lot of people now are using a foam, like a foam pipe insulation, which
that's what I get.
Both where it's just slit.
All right.
You put it on.
Let me try again
tape
here.
it, or you can get it where it's pre-sealed, where you just peel off this strip right here and seal it right around your pipes. That's a good way to keep your pipes from being exposed to the cold. If you've got pipes that are against cinder block walls or right against the exterior of your home, a lot of people will want to wrap them with like a heat tape, and those heat tapes are set up to where they only come on when it gets around 38, 39 degrees. Then they will come on, they'll keep your pipes warm. Of course, naturally, you want to wrap these heat tapes with either this fiberglass or put a foam over it or something of that nature, to keep that heat in around your pipe. But you can also do that. And of course, your outside faucets, they're always exposed to the elements and the weather. Just something as simple as a faucet cover, just a little styrofoam box that you can put over your faucet. It's got an attachment there where you can sort of cinch it down good and tight against your wall. It helps keep those drafts and that cold away from, bothering that. Also, foam pipe spray foam to go around gaps. A lot of times you've got holes and stuff maybe around your foundation vents that are close to where your pipes are running, or maybe around these outside faucets. They're not sealed real good, where they've had to be replaced over time, so you've got gaps around that. You can get spray foam insulation that will both expand a great deal, or if you're looking to go around windows or doors, we've got minimal expansion so that they expand just a little bit just to fill those gaps. You have to be careful. If you use one that expands too much, it'll sometimes bow those jambs and stuff on your windows and or doors to an extent where they become stiff to open and close. So, but we have spray foam in both varieties, things of that nature. We've got foam, rolls of foam insulation tape that you can go around your doors, anywhere from 1/2 inch wide to 3/4 wide, different thicknesses and stuff of that nature. So about anything you need to get prepared for cold weather, you can find it at Big John's.
No notes. All that he just told you with product knowledge. That's why you want to come here. Be loyal, buy local, and support the local man right here. Big John's Closeout. Your hours are open, sir.
We're here 7:30 to 6 Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 on Saturday, closed on Sunday.
Social media, how do we find you?
You can go to BigJohnsCloseouts.com.
That's okay.
You can also email to experts with an S at BigJohnsCloseouts.com, or they can send requests to me if they'd like at Mike, just M-I-K-E, at BigJohnsCloseouts.com, and we'll get back to you and answer your questions. You know, also when you're thinking about cold weather and you're thinking about storms and things that happens, there's always trees that come down, you know, other situations that go on where you've got yard cleanup. We've still got our chainsaws. We've got our bar oil. We've got all of our fuel mixes. We've got them back in stock now. We've got a good supply of replacement chains. We can resharpen your older chains. We've got bars. We've got whatever you might need to go ahead and get out there and get the yard
you can always
cleaned
call
up,
me
or,
if that ends up
get a
being
tree
what we
that's
need to
blocking
roll
your
with.
driveway out of the way.
It's all right here, Big John's Closeouts here in Elizabeth. And be loyal,
Okay.
be
Thank
loyal,
you.
buy local rather, and buy right here from Big John's Closeouts where they hammer high prices. One of our great sponsors of Cyclone Sports and the Tom Taylor Sports Show, Big John's Closeouts. On to Travis Constable again with TNS Home Improvements. Tell me what's all about, sir.
Well, we build decks, do porches, roofing, underpinning under mobile homes, a little bit of remodel work, but with the decks and roofing, we just try to stick on that end of things.
Absolutely. And so they've been at it for how many years now?
We've been at it for a little over 3 years now.
3 years. TNS Home Improvements. They go all over the Tri-Cities. You take quotes. You're licensed and bonded, correct?
Yes, sir.
So I make the phone call.
Hello?
Get me through real quick. I make the phone call, get a hold of you, so we'll come
Yes,
out
sir.
and see what you got going on. Tell me, what do you do? Take it from there. What happens next?
No
I'll
problem.
schedule a day and time to come out and speak with you and give you an estimate, and
Great.
you just have to say yay or nay, and then we put you.
Couldn't get you on, so all right. Let's type in. Where are we here? Let's get into. We'll get right here. Lord have mercy. One of our great sponsors on Cyclone Football, again, the great folks at Ivy Hall Nursing Home. Joseph Taylor, tell us what it's all about.
Yes, sir. We specialize in short-term rehab or long-term care. We accept all major insurances. We accept Medicare, Medicaid. What we really love is people that come in that have had a knee replacement, hip replacement, come to Ivy Hall for some inpatient rehab. We have physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. We have a full-time respiratory therapist. And Tom, you can see I'm a big guy, so you know I like food. I know good food, and Ivy Hall specializes in home-cooked meals, three good meals a day. You can catch me every day right at the door getting my tray myself.
There you go. That's awesome. How do we find out more
Perfect.
about Ivy Hall on social media?
Yes, sir. We have a Facebook page, Ivy Hall Nursing Home on Facebook, or a website, ivyhallnursinghome.com.
One of our great sponsors, folks. Glad to have them on board. Ivy Hall Nursing Home on Cyclone Sports and the Tom Taylor Sports Show. And back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show, let's go to the ponies there. Our buddy Andy Stanko will get to, we got a bug in the system somewhere. We always have a bug. We'll get a bug in the system somewhere as far as heading on the screen. But we got him on the phone. That's better than nothing at all. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. A couple of snow days here, but back to it on campus, and we're in the thick of winter sports. That's for sure.
There you go. Let's start with women's basketball. The Lady Buffs. What's going on right now with Milligan Lady Buffalo basketball?
Well, first and foremost, Milligan women's basketball became the first team to win on the newly christened Smith Harris Court inside the Steve Lacy Fieldhouse. We had a great event on Saturday in which we honored some of our most accomplished basketball alums. Del Harris, who was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2022. Sonny, unfortunately, couldn't be there, but those guys, class of 1958 and class of 1959, went on to do great things in the game of basketball and in life. And we have a brand new, court decals, Smith Harris Court in the Steve Lacy Fieldhouse, and Milligan women's basketball, first ever winners on that new court, and it was a big game on Saturday. It was Pikeville, who was voted the co-favorites of the conference with Bryan, Pikeville coming in from the Mid-South Conference, and big-time 84-78 win to get a season sweep over the Bears. And it was a game that Pikeville led 49-44 late in the third quarter. Kylie Russell-Greer calls timeout and really challenges her team. When we do stats, we're right over there and can kind of hear what's going on, and really challenged her team. Milligan scores the final 12 points of the quarter, never looks back, picks up a huge conference win to move to 10-1 in league play. Haley Patchett, 21 points. J.C. Jenkins, 21 points. Lauren Longmire, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Samaj Clark, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. This Milligan women's team is keeping pace in the conference, 10-1. You're 10-1, and somehow they're in third place. Reinhardt just snuck into the top 25. Bryan is also up there. And this team leads the conference in field goal percentage, assists per game, fewest turnovers per game, and then number 2 in the conference in field goals per game, rebounding, and blocks. JC, Longmire, Haley Patchett, Samaj Clark, all are averaging double figures. So just another very strong year for Milligan women's basketball, a really good chance of getting to nationals, and back in action on Saturday at Union.
So you're 10-1 and you're in third place. That's how tough his league is, to have a record of 10-1 in the league and you're in third place. That tells you a lot about the strength of the league. I know the Elizabeth, the young lady, Lena Lyons, getting some playing time, isn't she?
She is. She's fun to watch. And even against Pikeville, was able to give a spark. And it's so funny in the different ways that she can do that. It was with offensive rebounding. And you and your audience are very familiar with her game and her size, and she just was the first one to the ball and kept several possessions alive, and ultimately she's been a part of a bench unit that really has provided a lift for this team this year.
We're done. Andy Stanko again. Hello, Corey Mack. Hello, Angie Johnson. Hello, Doug Tittle. Again, thanks for being with us. We're live here in the studio, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Tomorrow will be at Lingerfield Drug Center in Elizabethton. So that's the Lady Buffs. What's going on with Bill Robinson, his Coach Robinson, and the men's team right now?
Sure. Milligan 7-6 in conference, 5th place in 13th team AAC. And Milligan, the number 1 scoring offense in the conference at 88 points per game, top 3 in the league in field goals, field goal percentage, free throws attempted, free throws made, and assists per game. So a lot of really good offensive basketball being played right now for Milligan. And it really starts with Folly Bogan, graduate transfer, Lees McRae career, and he has been just outstanding in his first year with the Buffs. He was named this week to the Clarence Bevo Francis Award Top 100 watch list, and the award goes to the top player in small college basketball, and the list, it gets whittled down every couple of weeks, but Folly is on the list, and the list features players from NCAA Division II, Division III, NAIA, USCAA, and NCCAA. So top 100 players across small college hoops, he's in there. And right now he's top 5 in the nation in the NAIA and scoring at 25.9 points per game, top 10 in the country in field goals made and foul shots converted. Had 38 in a huge win over Union over this season, and 13 20-point games, 4 30-point games, a 3-time conference player of the week. And man, the Buffs have played a bunch of the top teams in the conference recently, lost tight to Johnson on Wednesday, shot 70% in the second half, but couldn't quite make the comeback against Pikeville on Saturday. Now a big one at Union this coming Saturday. The reigning, however many years, regular season champs, conference champs, the Bulldogs have always been good. Milligan got them for the first time since 2019 earlier this season, so it should be a really good one up in Kentucky on Saturday.
We're talking to Andy Stanko. We're live in studio. Coming up top of the hour, going to be joined by Greg Sire talking Major League Baseball. Eddie Morrell joins us later, the wrestling coach at Elizabeth. They got a big meet scheduled this Saturday, the John Clark Classic, in honor of the late wrestling coach at Elizabethton High School. Hello, Jordan Mitchell. How you doing? So the tournament will be at Meadowview again this year. Is that correct?
Yes.
And who goes? Top 8, top 10, top 4? What's the format?
Top 10 in both sides. Top 10 in both sides. 7, 8, 9, and 10 will play a play-in date to fill the final 2 spots of that 8-team bracket. And from there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, quarterfinals, semifinals, and championship. That quarterfinal day is a long day. I did stats up there last year. You're playing at 9 a.m., but we had a slobber knocker of it was either an 8:30 or an 8 or an 9 a.m. tip-off. It was it was the 4-5 women's game, and it was an epic quarterfinal. And so teams are ready to go, and it just hoops all day long, especially that quarterfinal day.
It's going to be good. Again, what's the dates for the tournament?
The dates for the tournament is that final week of February. That's 28th, 29th, March 1st, and then March 2nd.
A lot of basketball between now and then. We're talking to Andy Stanko. Let's switch. We talked hoops. Let's talk bowling at Milligan. What's going on there?
Oh, yeah. The bowling team begins its spring semester slate this weekend. The Mid-South Conference is hosting the Lynn Jordan and Thomas Burris Memorials up in Louisville. And impressive finishes. Right before Christmas, the teams went up to Pennsylvania, played and competed in 2 Tier 1 tournaments each. And when you say Tier 1 tournaments in bowling, it's just lots of teams are there. There's a greater emphasis placed on the results when there are more teams there. And Milligan's men, their top Tier 1 finish in program history, they finished 4th. And then in the other event, Nate Trentler, freshman, and one of the best freshmen in all of college bowling, he finished as the runner-up in the other tournament. And then on the women's side, team runner-up in the Roto Grip Keystone Classic. So both teams, had strong showings up in Pennsylvania. And in the United States Bowling Congress, they have computer rankings of every team, every bowling team, not just NAIA, just every college bowling team in the country. And Milligan, inside the top 40 on both sides. Milligan's women ranked number 34. The men are number 35. And then both squads appeared in the NAIA's top 15 in the first round of RPI, or the most recent round of RPI, and there should be another one coming out here soon. So both teams hoping to move up into the top 10. And it is a youth movement. Freshman Brian Griffith leads the team with an average of over 214 pins per game. Nate Trentler, of course, 212 pins per game. 4 players over 200 pins on the men's side. And then returning All-American on the women's side, Emily Cheeseman, 187 pins per game. And, Brian Rickert, this is just year 3 of men's bowling, year 2 of women's bowling, and they're cooking. They are one of the better ranked programs in the country already, and they still do not have, a senior class that was here as freshmen. They have some transfers, different things, but it's fun to watch. And weather permitting, I'll be heading over there this afternoon to take some photos of practice, and it's a fun group to be around. That's for sure.
Is bowling growing on the college level as far as a sport and an interest?
Yes. As a matter of fact, the NAIA has had a championship only for the last in this past decade, and it's an emerging sport. You need to have a place to do it. The team has a great relationship with Holiday Lanes here in Johnson City, so it is rising. And certainly at Milligan, the team has grown from just 5 guys in the first year. They've essentially tripled, and the women have doubled in size from year 1 to year 2. So it's been fun to watch.
We're talking to Andy Stanko. We're talking Milligan University Sports Update. We do this periodically. Basketball in the books, bowling in the books. Now we go to the pool. What's going on with Milligan swimming right now?
Oh, yeah. Top 5 national rankings for both swim teams. The men are number 4 in Swim Cloud's NAIA Men's Championship rankings. The women are number 5 in the same criteria. The team was able to have their only home meet of the year in the Steve Lacey Fieldhouse pool this past Friday. The Buffs swept King on the men's side and the women's side. 3 pool records set on Friday: the women's 200-meter medley relay, the men's 200 free relay, and Hanete Feltus in the 50-meter women's freestyle. Tay Feltus and Paxton Smith on the men's side were named the Swimmers of the Week. And really, it was nice to have that home meet because this senior class with Stephen Gilbert, Gabby McPherson, Tyler Cates, Kaylee Williams, Ben Hawkins in his 5th and final season. Coach Spencer Scarth is in year 5 now, and this class was his first class after coming in, his first full recruiting class, and they really changed the game in terms of Milligan swimming. At this point, for incoming freshmen, people who are just around campus, it's a foregone conclusion that Milligan's going to be really, really competitive, as in, winning 30 of 36, conference titles in February. But that's not a birthright. It wasn't always the case here. And this senior class, Coach Scarth, what they've been able to accomplish, it's kind of the last ride for these seniors. And they're looking to chase a trophy at nationals. You need to finish top 3 to earn a trophy. And the men in the rankings are just right behind Cumberland's for that number 3 spot. So it was nice to honor those guys. And then on Saturday, Milligan's heading to Cumberland's, and Cumberland's is ranked number 3 on the men's side, number 4 on the women's side. They're one spot ahead of Milligan in both sets of national rankings. So for a regular season dual meet, it should be very, very competitive. It is the penultimate meet ahead of the AAC championships, which are scheduled in the Kingsport Aquatic Center in just a few weeks away, February 8th through 10th, and then nationals in March. So Milligan Swimming on its way once again.
Sounds very good. Yesterday we had on the show Coach Ryan Whitten, the Milligan University flag football coach, and they'll start up in February. We're going to stream a couple of those games, and so we're pretty excited about that, and so is he.
Absolutely, and yeah, they I want to take a look at their schedule here. I got to get that updated on our website. They've had a few changes, but we're excited to have a couple of home dates for that and get you in and really see how it goes. This team has worked so hard from, last season not having enough to now having plenty to be able to practice, be able to compete, and we'll see how it goes. But it's been a long journey for flag football, but we're so excited to see how it all turns out.
Absolutely. All the information we need from Milligan Sports is on the website. Tell us how we can find that, sir.
MilliganBuffs.com is your place to go, and on any social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, at Milligan Buffs for our department-wide account. And we're having fun.
You got it. Go Buffs. Great job, Andy. Next time we'll have you on, I promise we'll have you on the screen. Promise. We're going to get this fixed. We thank you very much, sir. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon, and go Buffs, all right?
Go Buffs. Thank you, Tom.
Yes, sir. Good Bye-bye. Man. Andy Stanko, Sports Information Director at Milligan University. I apologize for the glitch. Oh, don't get me started. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're here live again in studio. Keep your fingers crossed. Craig Sire is due to join us next on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Talking to Dr. Aaron Kaiser from Physical Therapy Services. Tell us what you're all about.
Well, we're physical therapy, and so what we do is we put people through rehab, whether it's surgical or non-surgical, and try to get them back as functionally possible as fast as we can so that they're functional.
Yep. Things you guys do, things that you offer, the ways you take care of people.
Okay, so we have a bunch of equipment that we get to use on people all the time. So we have an Alter G, which is an anti-gravity treadmill. We have a Biodex. We have new steps. We do a lot of manual. We do modalities. We really do it all. We treat knee replacements, shoulder replacements, rotator cuff. We do vertigo. We do carpal tunnel. We do neuropathy. We do it all.
Do it all,
yeah.
and do it well.
Thank
you. 2
2
locations?
Yes, 2 locations. One is 1975 West Elk Avenue. That is our main orthopedic clinic. That's where we do the athletes and the adults and that kind of thing. And then we have a pediatric clinic. It's in Medicare.
Yeah, I can hear you.
1500 West Elk Avenue, and that's where we have PT and OT for kids.
Okay.
They have a lot to offer, folks. So the best way to do is find out through social media what they do offer and how do we find you.
So we have Facebooks they're separate from both of them, the ortho clinic and the pediatric clinic. And then, of course, you can always just call us or grab me on a sideline. You'll probably find me there most of the time.
There you go. Dr. Aaron Kaiser, one of our great sponsors of the Tom Taylor Sports Show and Cyclone Sports at Physical Therapy Services.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
This is Pastor Fowler of Pleasant Beach Baptist Church in Elizabethton, and we'd love to have you come be with us. You and your family be with us on Sunday. I'm standing here in the lobby at our visitors table, our welcome table, and there's packets made up with tells you a little more about the church and get acquainted card, and then also a mug and some things in there for you to take with you to remind you to pray for us. And we've got a place for you and your family. We want you to come. Our goal is for you to know the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior. But beyond that, to find your purpose and contentment in life of knowing Him, walking with Him, and serving Him each day. And so we want you and your family to come be with us Sunday morning, Sunday night, or Wednesday night. We're looking forward to seeing you soon. You can find a little more information about us online at PleasantBeachBaptist.com.
Furniture. Tell folks out there what Cannon Furniture is all about, would you please?
We are a local family-owned small business. We have a full line of furniture and bedding, living room, dining room, recliners, mattresses, you name it. we have it. We also do custom lines of furniture.
Some of the product lines you carry are?
We have Bassett, England, Ashley,
Hey, Tom.
Benchcraft, Barca Lounger, and Sealy, Simmons, Tempur-Pedic, Serta, Beauty Rest, Sierra Sleep. And there's a new one coming soon, but I'll keep that one quiet until it gets here.
To the appropriate time. Hours are open at Cannon Furniture.
Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 9 to 5.
They rely a lot on social media. How can we find you on social media?
You can find us on Facebook or
American League
Instagram at Cannon's Fine Home Furnishings.
Yep. One of our great sponsors is Cyclone Sports. Check them out, folks. Again, be loyal, buy local, and buy at Betsy in downtown Elizabeth. And the great folks are right here, Cannon's Furniture.
Okay.
And back with the Tom Douglas Sports Show. Let's go to the ponies there. Our buddy Greg Sire with the Major League Baseball update. Good morning, sir. How cold is it at your house? It's about 14, 15 degrees here. A little cool, as they say. A little frost on the pumpkin. How cold is it at the Sire home?
Yeah, it's about the same
Yeah.
here. I took the dog out like at 3 this morning. He was needing to go out, and it was I think 3 degrees at 3:00 when
There
I
you
took
go.
him out. So yeah, it was a little chilly.
Yeah. But it's going to be 50s and 60s next week. So anyway, we're going to be all right. We're going to get through. It's got another round of snow coming in here, they say, and really colder temperatures, even more than what we've got coming up for the weekend, and it's going to moderate very quickly. So we're going to break down the American League East coming up here in a few minutes. A couple of things. What's your take on the Giants getting Jordan Hicks? Is that a good deal? 4 years, $44 million. The pitcher, is that a good move for them?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, those of us locally here remember him from his time with the Johnson City Cardinals, and the interesting thing about that deal is he's always been a reliever, and they want him to be a starter. So I'm anxious to see how that works out. That's going to be quite a change for Jordan Hicks because he's always been that late inning, 100-mile-an-hour plus guy that comes in out of the bullpen and really doesn't have to throw that many pitches. And there are guys that can throw like that and be starters, but he's never really done it. So I'm anxious to see how that's going to work for him and the Giants. But I like the move for them. I think it's a good pickup.
And so they, again, pick up Jordan Hicks, again, 4-year, $44 million contract. They also pick up, in a roundabout way, Dusty Baker going into the front office for the Giants. And good move, bad move for the Giants.
Yeah, I love Dusty Baker. I think anything that you can do to get him with your team is going to be good. So I think that's a good move for them. If you look at who they already have in those same kinds of positions, as far as somebody that that's an advisor, Barry Bonds is an advisor for them, and so is Willie Mays. So you add Dusty Baker to that. That's a pretty good little trio to have. I'm not a big Bonds fan, but hey, you got to admit the guy had some talent and knows the game. So you put those three guys in there advising. Of course, Mays has got some age on him now, but that's a pretty solid group of advisors to have.
Yeah, I would think if Willie Mays set me down and told me how to fix my batting stance or my swing or whatever, I think I'm going to listen to it. I mean, it is Willie Mays after all, so say hey,
Right.
Willie. So he and Dusty Baker, pretty good guys to sit down and listen to as far as getting advice on how to improve your game. In particular, I would think how to attack the ball at the plate. Hello to Ronnie Woods, great friend and a longtime basketball official. I think I've not seen him this year. I think he's retired, but hello to Ronnie. Appreciate you. And Corey Mack and Jordan Mitchell and Angie Johnson. We're in studio today, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is open, by the way. They're open at 9 o'clock tonight. We thought we'd do another show here in the studio today. Now, tomorrow we'll be at Lingerfeld Drug Center. Friday we'll be at Food City, depending on the weather. Either we're going to be here talking about Food City or we're going to be at Food City. So we'll have to wait and see what the weatherman, how that all plays out on Friday morning. But we are due to have some freezing rain and snow overnight Thursday night into Friday morning. So if that's the case, I know where this chickadee's going to be. It's going to be sitting right here. So I ain't going to, snow's one thing. Freezing rain, no, I'm off the road. I used to be, West Virginia redneck. Well, I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof. That won't stop me. Well, it's, do you remember the stud tires back in the day? I was talking about this on the show yesterday. You remember we had stud tires and chains? I mean, that was a big deal in West Virginia growing up. You just, everybody bought, go ahead.
Yeah, everybody bought snow tires, they called them, yeah.
With studs in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which little pieces of metal, I think is what they were. I'm not sure what get down and examine what the stud was. I just know it made a lot of noise when you're under the car, a lot of racket going down the road, but it worked. Then on top of that, it got really bad. They put chains on. So,
yeah, and I noticed my mailman had chains yesterday when they went by. So
did they
I
really?
let them go by, and they had chains on the back, not on the front, but on the back.
Interesting. So they still do it. So anyway, if the roads are iffy Friday morning and they're calling for that to be the case, then I'll be right here bringing it to you, brought to you by Food City in the cozy confines of the Tom Douglas Sports Show studio. We're on show number 2002, by the way, on our way to 2,500. So we are going to have a celebration soon we get the room booked. We are going to go ahead and do that 2,000 celebration, even though we're past the marker, because I want folks to come by, and I want to thank them publicly for being with me on the show for 9 years and now 2,002 shows. So we look at the pre-agent market. Pitchers and catchers report when? Couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks? When's the official date? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's the middle of February, so it's a little over 3 weeks from now. About 4 weeks from today, I believe, is when it is, because it's usually a Wednesday.
It is.
That they first come in. So yeah, that's when it's going to be. And and there's still a lot of free agents out there. So there's a lot of things happening with the free agents, but there's a lot of guys out there that have not yet signed. And I'm really anxious to see, because I think some of these guys, I think some of them thought they would have a team by now, and they don't. So I think it's really interesting, that we're seeing that, because there are a lot of free agents available right now, and there's a lot of rumors going around about some of these guys too, and where they're going to end up. But the fact is, some of these guys are not going to latch on with anybody, and we just won't hear from them again.
So who has the advantage right now? The players or the owners? Are you at this point, and all these guys thought they're going to get scooped up and get big bucks, and it's not happening right now. So as this lingers on, who gets the upper hand in the negotiations? The owners, the management, or the player and the agent?
Yeah, so the agents, they don't seem to get nervous about this at all. They say, let's go into spring training. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to need somebody. They're going to reach out, and they're going to grab you. The guy that I'm thinking about right now is Blake Snell. He's one of the best free agent pitchers on the market, but yet he doesn't have a deal yet. And, so the Yankees, what do? They go out and they sign Marcus Stroman for a couple of years, and 2-year deal with New York. And from what I heard about the Yankees, what they said about Blake Snell was his asking price was just too high, and they weren't willing to go there. So if the Yankees are saying your asking price is too high, there's only 2 or 3 teams that's even going to be in the conversation, because the Yankees are willing to pay big bucks for a player they really want. And if they weren't willing to do that for Blake Snell, I think the list of teams that are even willing to talk to him may be narrowing if he's not willing to come down a little bit on what his demands are.
So we're talking a little slice of humble pie here is what you're saying, right? Go have to eat a little humble pie and back it off a little bit?
Yeah, and we've seen that in the past. We saw. Well, I'll give you an example. Dallas Keuchel. We had Keuchel. We had that with him a few years ago. He came off winning a Cy Young award like Blake Snell, and asked for the moon. Well, he didn't really get what he thought he was going to get, and really it proved to be true that he wasn't maybe as durable a starter as everybody thought he was. And he hung around for several years after that, but was never the same pitcher that he was before. So you don't ever want to see that with anybody, but you're seeing a lot of guys that you would say are maybe number 2, number 3, maybe even number 4 starters already signing deals, and then some of these guys that are the big names like Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell and. Let's see, who else is still out there? Well, Zach Greinke's still out there. Some of those guys that you would think would sign fairly quickly, well, they haven't. And and I think most of those guys that I just mentioned, probably all of them, will sign somewhere. But But yeah, some of these guys, you know, it's funny because it happens. We just don't hear about a player again for a while or ever. And I think that may happen with some of these guys that don't sign before the end of spring training.
We're talking to Greg Sire. He joins us every week, Major League Baseball. He's our guru of Major League Baseball here on the show. We are here live again in studio, brought to you by Chick-fil-A of Elizabeth, and they are open today. And so if you want to go by Chick-fil-A, they are there. And there's a pretty good chance I may slide through there myself in a little while and get something to eat. So, but today we thought we'd do it one more time here in the studio. We had a glitch on the split screen, so we're going to get that fixed, I promise you. That'll get remedied sooner than later because I'm over it, so we're going to get it fixed. But anyway, we were here for that reason, so, you know, it just gets frustrating, and I understand, but we need to get it fixed. We're going to get it fixed, and we'll do it. Hello, Amy Brett. Hello to Patrick Redwine. Hello to Reba Whitehead. Thanks for being with us. We're going to break down the American League East. We have 5 teams, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Orioles, Toronto, and Miami. Is that correct?
That is correct. Or Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. I'm sorry, the Rays. Marlins, wrong team. My bad. Tampa Bay. It was a Florida team. So I'm still jacked up about this split screen thing. So New York, oh, you don't understand. New York, Boston, Baltimore, Toronto, and Tampa Bay are your 5 teams. So let's break it down. Let's go from the bottom up. And your 5th team, you think, I'm going to hold on to these, and we're going to check you at the end of the season. American League East, we're going to break down the division. We'll do one each week now because, as he said, pitchers and catchers report within a month. About 4 weeks from now, the Daytona 500, they start qualifying on February the 14th. So here we go. We've had a lull a little bit in some of the sports, and we're getting ready to get cranked back up in baseball and NASCAR. So let's start it, sir. Who finishes 5th this year, in your opinion, in the American League East? Who's going to be the cellar dweller?
Well, I'm going to go with the team that finished 5th last year, and that would be the Boston Red Sox.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. They had their record last year was 78-84, and unfortunately for them, I don't think they've gotten any better. So they've added Lucas Giolito, Vaughn Grissom from the Braves, Tyler O'Neill in a trade with the Cardinals, but they've lost Chris Sale, Alex Verdugo, Justin Turner, Corey Kluber, and Adam Duvall.
Wow.
You know, if you look at their roster, they're in a tough division to compete, and I really think that they're going to have a hard time competing with the roster they have right now. If they go out and sign some guys, maybe, but the roster they have right now, I think they're just going to have a real hard time in that division.
So on the plus-minus sheet, looks like to me what you said, they lost more than they gained. They lost some pretty big names, walked away from the team. So Giolito, is that your big pickup in the offseason for Boston or not?
Yeah, I think so. Giolito and Tyler O'Neill are probably the 2 big names, and of course, Braves fans are familiar with Vaughn Grissom, and he was the guy that Boston got back in the Chris Sale trade with Atlanta, and they have high hopes for him, which Braves kind of gave up on him, I think, but they have high hopes for him, and let's hope that he has a fantastic season this year and a good major league career because I think he's got the potential to do that, but I don't know that he's enough to push them over the edge in the American League East.
So the Red Sox finished 5th. We're breaking down the American League East. So the 4th place team, I'm going to say, see if I get this right. I'm going to say, you're going to say Tampa Bay.
You are correct.
Woo!
You are correct. I thought I would surprise you with that one because I think they're going to have the biggest fall in this division. I really do. They won 99 games last year. And, you know, and I'm excited to see Taj Bradley for a whole season. That young pitcher that they brought up that was just lights out most of the season for them. I'm anxious to see what he can do for a whole season. And you compare him with Shane McClanahan, who is coming back from some injury, but they've extended him. And those 2 guys are a pretty good 1-2 punch in your rotation. But they also have lost guys. They lost Tyler Glasnow, of course, in that trade with the Dodgers, Manny Margot in that same trade, Christian Bethancourt, catcher. And then I'll be surprised if Wander Franco is able to play this year as well. He's on the roster right now, but, you know, if you take him off that roster, I think this team is not as good as they were last year. I think they'll be somewhere around 500. I don't think they're going to get that 99 wins like they had last year.
So we're breaking down the American League East. So you got Boston finishing dead last, Tampa Bay finishing 4th. Hello, Jessica Williams. How you doing, lady? Then you go to the number 3 team. I'm going to say, you're going to say the Toronto Blue Jays.
And you would once again be correct.
Ding, 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 ding. All right.
Yeah, the team that finished third last year as well. So I like their team. I think they've got a good shot at doing some things. I like their lineup probably better than their pitching staff. You know, Kevin Gosman's the frontline starter there, and he's good. And they've got some other guys that are pretty good. But you know, the team lost Brandon Belt, Matt Chapman, Whit Merrifield as free agents. Now, none of those guys have signed anywhere yet, but you know, they're probably not coming back. They did add Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. They did add him, and he's probably going to be their third baseman and step into that spot that Matt Chapman was in. But I think they've got a good, young, exciting team. Love their outfield. They've got Kevin Kiermaier back in center field, which that was he had gone to free agency, and they signed him back. Dalton Varsho probably in left. And then George Springer probably in right. That's a pretty strong outfield. So I like that about them. Of course, they got Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Either at the DH or first base. I like their lineup. I really do. You know, Bichette at shortstop is going to be a star. I mean, this kid is really, really good. So I like where they're headed. I just don't know that their pitching is going to keep up with where they need to be. I think they'll be competitive. I think they'll be around and I think they'll compete for the division title most of the season. I just think toward the end they're going to lose out.
Bichette's the shortstop. These guys always spitting. Anytime he'll back out of the batter's box between pitches and spit 10 times. I love it. I don't know why I think. See, I'm so goofy. The things I spot on people's like, this guy spits all the time. So anyway, Bichette in Toronto. That's your third place team. We're talking to Greg Sire. He joins us every week. Been with us unless he's on vacation or sick or whatever, he's been with us every Wednesday for all these 9 years, and we appreciate that very much. He is my baseball guru here on the show. He's my, probably the number one contributor. He's been with me every week, and so we can't thank him enough for that. How did you like that bobblehead doll? Where do you have it, by the way? I got you for Christmas. Whereabouts is it?
Oh, that's sitting in my office.
In your office, prominently displayed. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
That's good.
I have several bobbleheads in there, and it's right in the center.
There you go.
Griffey Jr. I mean, hey, can't go wrong.
No, pretty good take there. Well, it was funny where I bought it. I left it there for about a week till I got back to pick it up, and the lady said there at Duck Crossings where I bought it, one of my sponsors, she said, "I'm glad you came and got it after we took it out of the case back here. Nobody had ever looked at it. Once had it up here and kind of in the on hold, you came and picked it up. Had 3 people want to come by and buy it after they saw it. I said, well, you didn't sell it. That's a smart thing." She said, no. But anyway, a lot of folks, after they saw it, out of the original case, said, man, I like to have the Ken Griffey Jr. bobblehead doll, but it belongs to Greg Sire. So, and proudly I gave it to you because I appreciate what you do here for the show. So we're down to the 2 teams. Who's going to finish first in the American League East? I'm going to say the second place team. I'm going to say, you're going to say, the New York Yankees.
And once again, you would be correct.
Ding, 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 ding,
the
ding.
New York Yankees. Yeah, so this team was barely over 500 last year, 82-80. They had to do something. Of course, they still have Garrett Cole. He won the Cy Young last year. Finally won one. He's been a finalist I don't know how many times. Finally won the Cy Young. After him in the rotation, what they had was a little bit suspect, Carlos Rodon and Nestor Cortez. So they go out and sign Marcus Stroman to a 2-year deal, and not a bad move for the Yankees. He's going to fit in nicely, I think, in the number 2 spot behind Garrett Cole in that pitching rotation. Now, as far as starting pitchers go, they lost Frankie Montas and Luis Severino, but position player-wise, they made some pretty good additions. They added Alex Verdugo from the Red Sox in that trade, and then Trent Grisham and Juan Soto from the Padres. Hey, you add Juan Soto to a lineup, it's going to change any lineup. But
yes.
Think about who is going to be hitting around him in that lineup. So Aaron Judge is going to be there, probably hitting right in front of Juan Soto in that lineup.
You got Stanton too, don't you?
And you got Stanton too. Stanton's probably going to be the DH, and you got those three guys hitting probably maybe 2, 3, and 4 in your lineup. That's just going to be unbelievable. I mean, Judge only played 106 games last year because of injuries, but he still hit 37 home runs. I mean, if he's healthy this year and they have and they have him for the entire year, it's going to be astronomical what he can do with Juan Soto hitting behind him in the lineup. I mean, it's just going to be unbelievable because he's going to see pitches he's never seen before because they're not going to want to throw him to Soto.
No, he's going to get some better looks, no question. Now, Stanton's been injury prone, but he can keep him healthy. And Judge's been hurt a lot, too, after he tore up his toe there and catching that ball out there in the outfield fence. He was out for a long time. I think that's what was wrong with him. So you get him back healthy, all three of those guys. The pitching's got to match the hitting. So as it stands right now, the way I'm looking at it, the Yankees may score 10 and give up 12. Is that correct? Because their pitching's a little shaky, so a lot of O and not a whole lot of pitching right now, besides Cole. Is that correct?
It could be. Yeah, it could be. We may see some high-scoring games, but they have the potential to outscore opponents in high-scoring games. So that may be what we'll see.
Yep. So there's your American League East: New York, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Boston, the obvious, which is a team I've kind of hooked on to. I don't know why, except I used to like them. And I kind of jumped on the bandwagon last year, and I like him again this year going in. I like him even better. You're picking them to win the division. The Baltimore Orioles, the O-Birds. So you got them being the divisional winner this year. Tell me why.
Yeah, 101 wins last year, and the team hasn't changed a whole lot. I mean, they're going to be good. They really are. Love their lineup. Adley Rutschman is the best catcher in baseball. There's no doubt about that. I like Ryan Mountcastle at first base. I really think he is a good piece of that team as well. They have now. So the one area that I think they thought that they needed help was in the bullpen because Bautista, being hurt, and I don't think they think they can count on him a whole lot this year. So they went out and got Craig Kimbrell. And I'm like, hey, if you need one piece and that's your bullpen, and you can go out and sign Craig Kimbrell, you've done pretty well. So I love the way they look on paper. Cedric Mullins is just a bona fide star. Here's the thing about the Orioles of this year. Last year they surprised a lot of people. This year they're not going to surprise anybody. Everybody's going to expect it. They're going to expect the Orioles to be good, and they're going to be good. So I see them. To be honest, I don't know that they'll pull away in the division. I think this is the division that's going to be hard fought all the way till maybe the last weekend of the season. And let's hope so. We want to see that. But I think Baltimore's got the guns to pull it out.
By the way, we're at a balmy 18 degrees right now, so we are here live again in studio, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is open in Elizabethton, by the way, till 9 o'clock tonight. And so you can go by and get something good to eat. We'll be back there on Monday. We thought we'd do another show here today in the studio. We did. Tomorrow we'll be at Lingerfeld Drug Center in downtown Elizabeth. And Friday's Food City Friday, either at a store or here, depending on the weather. We're going to be doing another show on Friday, brought to you by Food City. Hello to Debbie Rasnick. Hello to Darryl Willocks. Hello to Jessica Williams. Hello to Brenda Grindstaff. You know what I say when I say hello to Brenda? What Conway used to say, hello, darling. Is your mother watching, by the way?
I think she is. Yeah, I texted her and said, "Hey, we're going to be on today." So yeah. I would imagine she's watching.
Hello, Ev. She always says, "Tom, you're so goofy." She always does this. If you're tuning in for the show first time, his mother always does this when I see her. "Hey, Dave, how you doing?" "Tom, you're just so goofy." So. Love your mother. Very, very few people can come up to me and say you're so goofy, but she gets by with it, so that's good. So,
yeah, she can get away with it.
Oh yeah, she is. She's my buddy. So, all right. So you look at Baltimore, you look at New York, you look at Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Boston in that order. If you look, I don't know if we've talked about this. If you step back from the 2023 season and grade the Major League Baseball season, you had Baltimore, you had super hyped up the Dodgers, the Braves. Who else faltered in the postseason? Baltimore did.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee laid an egg. So, if you go back and look at how it all ended with the Rangers, of course, winning it all with Evan Carter and the Texas Rangers, how would you grade Major League Baseball if you're Rob Manfred last year? Across the board, would you give it an A, B, C, or D?
I'd probably give it an A-, to be honest. I think it was a fantastic season. It was competitive. We had divisions going down to the last weekend. In the National League Central, we had a third-place team that was in it until the last weekend. So that's really good competitive baseball. Of course, the wild cards flip-flopped a little bit there on that last week, and that's always good to see teams having to be hot at the right time. And I think it was a great season. I love the fact that stolen bases are up, and of course that's because of some of the new rules that have been implemented. But I love that part of the game, and I think we're going to start seeing that utilized even more this year and maybe in years to come. But I'm glad to see that. I like to see a team manufacture runs instead of sit back and wait for the 3-run homer. And we've not seen that in a long time. But us old school guys, we still remember that, and we still like to see that. And I think we're going to see that. I think that's the future of baseball in the next several years. So I think it's an exciting time. I really do.
Hello, Patrick Redwine. How you doing, sir? Thank you for watching the show down in Mount Carmel. We are live here again in studio. So, Baltimore, New York, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Boston. Before I let you go, Eddie Morrell is going to join us next coming up here on the show. The Astros are out looking for a bullpen help because they lost Kendall Graveman. He blew out his shoulder or having shoulder surgery. So it is a definite blow to the Astros bullpen. So why not that? Again, one of the guys out there is Hader. Why is he not being picked up? I mean, here's the number one relief pitcher in baseball. Nobody's jumping on the bandwagon. I'm sure it's money, but will the Astros open up the checkbook and go get this guy? Because losing Kendall Graveman's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and they probably need to do that. I have a feeling they're going to look within first and try to make sure they don't lose Hector Neris at this point now, since this has happened to Kendall Graveman. But yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't go after a guy like Josh Hader. I think that's something that they would need to do. I'm looking at who all else is still out there. Liam Hendricks is still out there as well. Aroldis Chapman, that'd be an interesting signing for the Astros as well. Wow, Jesse Chavez is still listed as a free agent, Tom. He's 40 years old and still trying to latch on with another team. So there's some guys out there that can be very good, useful free agent relief pitchers that have not been picked up. But yeah, I think I don't know why the Astros wouldn't go after somebody like Josh Hader.
And then last but not least, the Mets pick up Yolmer Sanchez and Austin Allen. These are not big names, everyday names, but Sanchez has played in over 674 big league games, so that's not a bad pickup there. But an infielder, Sanchez?
Yeah, not bad. I was trying to see what his contract was, but yeah, that's not a bad pickup for them. They are a team that I think they're trying to change the way they're going to do business. Because last year, if you remember, they went all in and it was a bust.
Yeah.
It to say the least. I mean, if you're an owner and you go out and spend that kind of money and then have a season like your team had, you've got to do something. So some of these guys like Sanchez and some other guys that I think we're going to see them pick up, like they got Joey Wendell as well. They're going to go out and get some guys like that, I think, instead of the huge names that they've been linked to in the past. And I think they're going to find out they can do better by doing that than if they go after some of these big guys.
Great report, my friend. Again, Baltimore, New York, Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Boston in that order for the American League East. Next week, we'll do the National League East. We'll jump over there and see what you've got over there. Of course, that's the Braves division. So with the Mets and the Phillies and the Braves and the Nationals, is that right? Who did I leave out? Left out somebody. Braves.
Miami,
the Marlins. There you go. So we'll do that one next week. Have a good rest of your week. Stay warm. We'll see you next Wednesday, all right?
All right, sounds good.
Yep, great job, our buddy Greg Syer. Quick break. We'll be right back. Today's show brought to you by Chick-fil-A in Elizabeth.
At Chick-fil-A Caraway Village,
All
we
right.
always look
Yes,
forward
we
to
can get
seeing
that figured
Ellie.
out.
Nick also.
On
Ellie
my
just
screen,
gets
I
excited
was
and
set up
bolts right
perfect.
towards
I
them.
had it
She
set up
loves to
just the
come
way
and
I
get the
wanted it. I
bag
sat here
and
and
trots
played with the
right back to
background and
Nick.
everything
We never even had to
before-
ask them to hand her the
before
bag. The
you
team
got
members
on,
just
but-
automatically
so I don't
knew
know
to do
why
it.
it didn't
It was
work.
just that little
I couldn't
thing,
see you
that
at
level
all.
of customer service
Okay.
that kind of blew my mind.
We're just really glad that Nick shared Ellie with us. We take
Yeah.
care of our guests, whether they're two-legged or four-legged.
Antique mall with over 50,000 square feet of merchandise. We have about 52, 53, give or take, vendors with different items. We have a great
Okay.
selection of everything from antique, which is over 100 years, to vintage, which is 25 years, and then we do have a little bit of new things.
Okay.
Not,
Sounds
we
good.
concentrate on the vintage and antique
All right.
items.
See ya.
So you can find just about anything for yourself, for your home, and gifts. We have a lot of people that take gifts for their grandparents. They remembered they had them, and it's with their family.
Hours are open.
We're open Monday through Friday, 11 to 5:30. Saturdays 10 to 6. Open late for the car shows and anytime they have special events in town.
Neat Place, one of our great sponsors of Cyclone Football, Duck Crossing in downtown Elizabethton, proud sponsor of Elizabethton Cyclone Football.
Tom Taylor.
Furniture. Tell
I am
folks out
well.
there
How are
what
you?
Cannon Furniture is all about, would you please?
We are a local family-owned small business. We have a full line of furniture and bedding, living room, dining room, recliners, mattresses, you name it. We have it. We also do custom lines of furniture.
Some of the product lines you carry are
We have Bassett, England, Ashley, Benchcraft, Barca Lounger, and Sealy, Simmons.
Sounds good.
Tempur-Pedic, Serta, Beauty Rest, Sierra Sleep. And there's a new one coming soon, but I'll keep that one quiet until it gets here.
to the appropriate time. Hours are open at Cannon Furniture.
Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 9 to 5.
They rely a lot on social media. How can we find you on social media?
You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at Cannon's Fine Home Furnishings.
Yep, one of our great sponsors of Cyclone Sports. Check them out, folks. Again, be loyal, buy local, and buy at Betsy in downtown Elizabeth.
I'm going to make a Friday call
Cannon's
on
Furniture.
it, honestly, because the weather does not look favorable. And Randy Shelton called me from Greenville and said that his Saturday morning low is -4.
Back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show, let's go to the phone. He's there, our dear friend, Coach Eddie Morrell of Betsy Wrestling. Hello, sir. How are you?
Sir, I am doing well. How are you today?
Good. Are you warm? Are you out? Are you out? You've been out and about? Or are you staying close to the hacienda?
I have stayed pretty close to the hacienda, to be honest with you. This cold weather and wrestlers don't generally mix too well, although it is a winter sport. But we're getting back on the mat today to get the bugs out, get some stretching done, and hopefully get a little bit of wrestling done here over the next 3 days.
So all the winter sports have stopped for the time being. I mean, they've been put on hold, and we get that. Basketball, of course, swimming and wrestling. So you got your mojo, you got some momentum, so all of a sudden the weather makes you have a stoppage. Does that hurt you, help you? Is it good for the guys to get away and the ladies to get away for a day or two? Is that what you wanted or not?
Well, while it's not, it's not particularly what we want. There are some advantages to it. You get a little bit of rest, and if you're treating the sport as a lifestyle versus something that you just like to do, then the rest comes into play and is very favorable for you. A lot of other sports you play at, and I'm not taking anything away from these other sports, but you play soccer, you play baseball. When you're a wrestler, you wrestle. So, that indicates the lifestyle 24/7. So, for example, my diet has not changed while we've been off, and, I'm still looking at watching my weight and my protein intake, trying to get some stretching in here at the house every day, mainly because I'm old. And if I don't stretch, then, things things kind of break. So, but if you've embraced the sport as a lifestyle, then the rest is very welcome. We'll see how the rest quantifies itself today. We're going to work out for a couple of hours and, like I said, try and get some of the kinks out. But I always look at any rest as welcome. But I am anxious enough to eat Resolite to get on the mat again.
There you go. We're talking to Coach Morrell again with Elizabethton Wrestling. So the season, are we halfway through? Are we reached that point yet?
We are 2/3 through.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It goes by so quick. And, for example, we are supposed to have a home meet with Greenville and Sullivan East on Thursday. And then we have the clock duels on Saturday. After that, we get into 2 dates of dual action, region and section duels. Then I have an Alcoa tournament for the JV on the 27th. And then we're in the individual competition. We're done with state by February 24th. So, yeah, we got 5 weeks.
Wow. It's hard to believe it's gone that quickly. So how's the team doing right now? Break it down. What's going on with Cyclone Wrestling?
Well, what's going on with Cyclone Wrestling right now? If you've heard anything that I've said when I've been on previous shows, we're a young team. Being a young team has its blessings and has its disadvantages. While our dual meet record isn't quite where we want it to be, we've got some individuals that have really shined so far. Jacob Presley at 126 pounds has done an outstanding job. He's a junior and has let me compile his record real quick. Jacob's record right now is 12-10 and has been really solid at 126. Looking for him to advance. The Shelby brothers, Roman and Brock. Roman placed 5th at the Fandetti Brawl last weekend. And, with 37 teams, that's no mean feat coming in 5th. I was very proud of the way that he wrestled. His brother Brock has also wrestled really hard this year. He's been on our ill list. I know it's hard to believe some of us might get the flu, but it did happen for him. Also, Jacob Smith at 195 pounds is actually ranked among the top 15 in the state at 195 pounds. So he's done a great job for us. I'm looking forward to taking him a little farther. A name that you might recognize from the gridiron, Andrew Blevins, has taken the reins at 215 pounds. And we're looking for him to move on in the individual section of our season. And our heavyweight, Aiden Morley, was 1 match away from state last year, so we're looking for him to improve on that and come on down with us to Nashville in February.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. On the girls' side, Paige Shelby at 114 pounds and the freshman Sadie Kellerman at 120 have done an outstanding job. Both placed in the top 3 at the Brawl in the Hall 2 weekends ago. Did an outstanding job. Both the girls have been very aggressive and been sponges as far as learning goes. So we're looking forward to a great postseason individual run from them.
We're talking to Coach Morrell. We're talking Elizabethton Wrestling coming up on, before we get into Saturday's tournament or invitational or classic, let's talk about what's down the road. So you have individual and team. Folks sometimes tell me that it's confusing because you have individuals who can go to the state and teams can go to the state. So kind of explain that and what's the schedule?
Well, wrestling is unique in that you have an opportunity for your entire team to advance and move on to the state tournament. And then you also have an individual state tournament. The team state tournament, the team state tournament season kicks off January 23rd with our region duels here. That'll be us, Tennessee High, Chucky Doak, Greenville, Sullivan East, West Green. So the top 2 will move on to our section duels. Oh, and I'm sorry, I left David Crockett out of that mix. But we'll move on to our section duels, and that's where the top 2 from this region will go down and face the top 2 from the region down, Pigeon Forge, Halls, Gibbs, that North Knoxville region. Now, after that, those 2 go ahead and go on to the state tournament. State tournament's 2 days down in the Williamson County Expo Center. and just some great competition. Now, after all that's done, then we've got our region individual, the 10th of February at David Crockett, and it's the same format. The top 4 from each region will move on to the section. Top 4 from each section will move on to the state tournament.
So the team regional is going to be where, at Elizabethton?
No, the team region this year is going to be at David Crockett.
At Crockett, okay. And individual will be there too? Both of them be there?
Yes, sir. Yes, they'll both be there.
At Crockett High School in Jonesboro. So now Saturday we got a big event coming up at the John Tridway Gym Complex. It's kind of up in the air because of weather. We totally understand that. So what's going on? What is scheduled to be happening Saturday? We'll see if the weather allows us to happen or not.
Well, what we have scheduled Saturday is an 8-team dual event, and this is in honor of the 50th anniversary of Elizabethton Wrestling. A lot of people know that John Clark started our wrestling program in 1972, but what they might not be aware of is John Clark also started Tennessee High's program in 1970. And after from 70 to 72, he was Tennessee High's first wrestling coach. He then handed the reins over to Herky Johnson and came to Elizabethton. I think he married one of those pretty large girls, and he ended up settling here. I think that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But with us, we're looking at bringing into John Treadway Gymnasium. We're bringing Elizabethton High School, West Ridge, Volunteer, Greenville, Chucky Doak, Daniel Boone, West Green, and Tennessee High. You know, these are all region teams that have been somehow influenced by Coach Clark and him helping to truly establish wrestling here in East Tennessee. We'll divide up into pools of 4. We'll wrestle in our pools, and then each will have an outmatch for placement. So each team will wrestle 4 times that day and go home with a place in history as part of our 50th anniversary duels.
There you go. It's weather. We'll put an asterisk beside it. It is weather permitting because we got some freezing rain and snow and very cold temperatures coming in here on Saturday. So you're going to make the decision between now and then whether this is going to go. We hope it is, but if it can't, we totally understand that because the safety of the fans and the participants come first, correct?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we never do anything to jeopardize the safety of our athletes or our fans coming to see us wrestle. You know, we want you to come see us wrestle another day too. This isn't a one and done deal. So, you know, we want everybody to be healthy, safe and happy.
You got it. So he'll make that decision when we find out what his call is going to be. We'll let you know. So that'll be coming up. If it does go, it starts Saturday morning, like real early, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're going to weigh in at 8. We'll start wrestling at 9.
9 o'clock on Saturday morning. So we'll let you know what the status is with the weather coming in that it is, and they're calling for snow and starting with freezing rain and switching over to snow. So we'll see what happens, and we'll react accordingly. So in closing here, if you had to grade high school wrestling across Northeast Tennessee this year, A, B, C, or D, what do you think?
I'm giving us a solid B. I'm seeing tremendous improvements from all established programs. I was so glad to see Chucky Doak get back on the mat this year. You know, it was up in the air whether they would have a team. So, you know, we've expanded. Everybody has been working hard, getting a lot of off-season opportunities. And toward the end of the season, we'll talk about those off-season opportunities for the Cyclones because there are some big ones and we are going to take advantage of them. But the level of wrestling here in East Tennessee has become concurrent with its counterparts in the Knoxville area. And that's something that we've worked a long time to get to. You know, it used to be, you know, you'd hear another team in Orange Pigeon Forge, or you'd hear Halls, or you'd hear Gibbs. But, you know, now you've got to start throwing Tennessee High, Greenville, and your Mighty Cyclones into that mix as well, because on any one given day, any one team can beat any of the other teams. So, you know, that's what we've looked for. We've looked for parity. We've looked for good competition. We've looked for camaraderie between coaches because that's what builds the sport faster than anything else. And, you know, we're starting to see those things here in East Tennessee, and I couldn't be prouder to wear the orange and black than I am right now.
There you go. Great report, Coach. Thanks for checking in with us, for taking your time. So let us know what's going to be happening on Saturday, and we'll go from there, all right?
We are.
And I appreciate you, sir. Go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones, sir. Have a good one, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Good man right there, Coach Eddie Morrell, the head wrestling coach at Elizabethton High School. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll take a look at the National Football League next. Who's going where as far as coaching? Interesting. Only Jim Harbaugh's only been asked by 2 teams to interview for their head coaching job. Very interesting. And we'll take a look at that and see what's going on with that and more right after this timeout. We're live here in studio, brought to you by Chick-fil-A of Elizabethton. We'll be right back after this from Ford of Elizabethton. Ford of Elizabethton, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
So here's the deal. An opportunity presented itself for me to come check the dealership out. They said it might be for sale. My wife, my mother-in-law, both of my sisters happened to come last September, and we ended up at the Covered Bridge event, and we just thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, it was a blast. We weren't planning on being there for that. It just so happened the time that we came, the Covered Bridge event was going on, and we just loved it. We loved the community. We loved the energy, the vibe, and we felt like it would be a great opportunity for us to serve the community. Because every time I look at a store, I always look at how could we improve the community, how could we create jobs, how could we improve the business. And the upside was so tremendous in the Elizabethton community. I just felt like we could come make a big difference, and we've been able to do it.
You have. Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram of Elizabethton. Social media, how do we find you?
So Ford of Elizabethton, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram of Elizabethton. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're everywhere. And we're ready to serve the community, sell cars, and make some happy customers.
Amen. What's the hours you're open, sir?
So we're open at 7:37 in service, and we're open at 8:30 in sales. We stay open until 7.
Our title sponsor, the Tom Taylor Sports Show and Cyclone Sports, Ford of Elizabethton, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Hi, I'm Heather, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is getting the perfect bite. It's probably not the first bite, it's the second or the third, with the juicy chicken and the delicious pickle. The bite with the pickle is it. I mean, that is like the magic combination.
I walked into Chick-fil-A completely outnumbered. My husband was away at military leadership training, and the kids were doing this. Miss Carol brought me water, something to eat, and then before I knew it, she was tying Margot's shoes up and carrying her out to the car.
It always makes me feel good if I help somebody.
I went in the next day because I just wanted to make sure she knew how much I appreciated her help.
I'm just so glad there was somebody there when she really needed it.
That's gonna go on my refrigerator.
Hi, my name is Brian, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese is you can taste the different types of cheeses and the blends that they use, and everything just comes together. It's like a delicate dance. They're like perfection in every bite.
And back at the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. Got a few minutes left here. Hello to Jimmy Gwynn and Jason Blevins. Hello, Jason, one of our great sponsors of the Tom Taylor Sports Show. So, let's sit that right there. We don't think we need to hear that right now. So let's run down. Let's take a look at the coaching carousel in the National Football League. The Atlanta Falcons have interviewed Bill Belichick, among others, and also Jim Harbaugh. So they've interviewed those 2 guys. Also the Raiders interim head coach, Antonio Pierce. The coaching interview process for the Carolina Panthers, including Chris Tabor, the interim head coach, Dan Quinn from the Cowboys, defensive coordinator. He's been interviewed by everybody, or he's being interviewed by everybody, going to be. So that's Raheem Morris, the Rams defensive coordinator. Some of the guys that are being interviewed for the Panthers job, coming off the terrible season they had, opening things up with 1-10, didn't get any better. They had to fire Frank Reich because it just didn't produce. The Seahawks have interviewed Dan Quinn, really, and that's the big name up there. The Washington Commanders, Dan Quinn interviewing for that one as well, going to the Cowboys defensive coordinator. The Raiders have Leslie Frazier and Chris Richard. Frazier, the former Bills defensive coordinator, and Chris Richard, the former Seahawks defensive coordinator. Really? It's an amazing franchise. The Chargers, the Chargers have looked at Jim Harbaugh, Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator, among others, Dan Quinn, going to interview with him too. There's a whole list. The interim head coach is Giff Smith. They're going to take a look at him too. The Titans are looking at Antonio Pierce from the Raiders, Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, Mike McDonald. So they've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 guys they're going to talk to about the head coaching jobs in the National Football League. Be interesting to see what direction they go to and how things go in those interview processes. All right, let's take a look. Let's see. Pete Carroll out, general manager of the Seattle Seahawks, says, I got one goal. Keep a positive culture. Everything's been created here. It's positive. We want to keep it that way, says the owner, John Schneider, or the general manager, I should say. So the owner is Jody Allen. She says the same thing. We want a coach to keep a positive culture here in Seattle. Pete Carroll got booted upstairs, and so they're looking for a positive approach. If you're a Steelers fan, you're happy. Tomlin left the podium the other night after the loss to Buffalo and would not respond to the fact that would he or would he not be back with Pittsburgh. He is going to be. Told the Steeler players and coaches yesterday he plans to come back and coach the team in 2024. He has a year left on his contract. He said he just wants to coach football. Contract extension in the works between he and the Steelers to keep him there even longer than he has been up to this point. All right, playoffs. Let's take a look at those real quick. Let's see. Starting the National Football League, the NFC. NFC, we'll look at that division first. The Packers, the number 7 seed, in San Francisco, the number 1 seed, on Saturday evening at 8:15. Kyle Shanahan, the Niners coach, 7-3 in postseason. Looks like the scouting report will be a lot of running by Christian McCaffrey. Why would it not? He's a very successful running back. And so don't be too surprised when you watch the game. You'll see a big dose of 49er running led by Christian McCaffrey. So the Packers, can they go in and pull it off? Jordan Love having an excellent postseason, obviously, what he did with the Cowboys, against the Cowboys. So can he keep it going? The folks say yes. They feel like it's going to be a very close football game. So, and it all starts and stops with Love. Love, of course, the outstanding quarterback. Only Dak Prescott has done better from a quarterback rating than Jordan Love. So, could be interesting for that game coming up on Saturday in NFC. The other NFC game on Sunday, the 4th-seeded Tampa Bay Bucks at the number 3 seed Detroit Lions. Lions have a chance to make history by winning multiple playoff games in the same season for the first time since 1957. What is that, 64 years ago? Their 57 championship run. Lions will be favored. They rank in the top 5 this season in yards per play, scoring, passing yards, and rushing yards. Pretty solid offensive set for the Detroit Lions. But then you look at the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay's won 6 out of 7, including the victory of the Eagles. And so it could be a very interesting football game, to say the least. Now, Tampa Bay, they can't run the ball, but they pass the ball pretty good. Detroit's run defense is solid, but their pass defense struggles. So they can't run it. The Lions can stop the run. Tampa Bay's specialty is passing, and the Lions' pass defense is not very good. So, Baker Mayfield could be will be a big part of that football game, obviously, coming up. That'll be played on, be on Sunday at 3 o'clock on NBC. Now, the AFC games. Houston will be in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, leading candidate for the NFL MVP, his first postseason game since the 2020 season. For the Texans' chance to shock the world, rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud and rookie coach DeMeco Ryans be a massive test against Baltimore's defense. They led the NFL in sacks this year with 60. Houston will be facing the hottest team in the league down the stretch. The Ravens won 6 out of the last 7. And so that'll be a 4:30 kickoff on Saturday for the AFC divisional game in Baltimore. C.J. Stroud's got Nico Collins, He's got the rookie edge rusher on defense, Will Anderson Jr. So they've got he's got a couple of individuals, one on offense, one on defense. And that's not the whole team, of course, but these two guys kind of jump out at you. They've had a really, really good regular season and a real good postseason so far as well. Kansas City at Buffalo on Sunday night at 6:30. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes playing a road playoff game for the first time in his career, giving the Bills another shot at a team that's knocked him from the playoffs twice in the last 3 seasons in Kansas City. Now they're coming to Buffalo at Highmark Stadium. So should be a really, really, really good football game. Josh Allen for the Bills and Patrick Mahomes will go for the Chiefs. Kansas City's defense may be the difference in the game. They're legit. Obviously they played in less than ideal condition, the weather last weekend, but it took more than low temperatures and crummy weather to stop the second-best offensive football in the regular season, hold them to 7 points, that being the Miami Dolphins. So, don't look now, but the Chiefs' defense may be the difference in the football game to slow down the Buffalo Bills' offensive attack led by, of course, Josh Allen. So that's your playoff games coming up. The winners will win the right to go to the Super Bowl as a AFC or NFC team to win that one. So you're down to the final 8. And so the winners will play for the right to go to the Super Bowl coming up next week after next, rather. Hello, Jimmy Gwynn. Hello to Jason Blevins. Thanks for being with us. We're live here in studio. Derrick Henry, where's he going to go? Finished the season with 12 rushing touchdowns, tied for 5th among running backs, giving him 90 on his career. 13th all-time, tying him with Eric Dickerson and Curtis Martin for the most rushing touchdowns in his career. 1,167 rushing yards on 280 carries. Derrick Henry's totals 9,502 rushing yards. Trails only Eddie George for the most in franchise history. Henry turned 30 on January 4th, so he's getting long in the tooth by NFL standards. Says, I want to go to somewhere and try and get a ring for this thing, run out of time and get too old to play. Wants to spend his career with one franchise, but he wants to get to a team that can win a Super Bowl or have a chance. And right now he feels like Tennessee, and he's probably right, in a rebuilding phase, may not be primed to win it all in the time that Derrick Henry has left to play football. So be interesting to see what he does, but he very much has said, I want to go and finish out my career with a chance to win a ring. I get it. It's what everybody wants to do. That's the goal. That's why you're out there doing what you do every week. Quick break. We'll be right back. We are live here on the road tomorrow at Lingerfield Drug Center. Today we're in studio here, and we'll be right back after this from one of our great sponsors, Farm Bureau, on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
So I stopped in at Chick-fil-A for lunch and saw Officer Wilson come in. I decided to place a dine-in mobile order and have a cookie delivered to him just to show appreciation for his service for our community.
A few minutes later, I noticed that Officer Wilson had gotten up and left, and I knew he hadn't gotten his cookie yet.
I'm headed to my car. I turn around and I see Allie, and she's running after me.
Mr. Police Officer, Mr. Police Officer.
Usually when someone yells, officer, officer, they want to ask me about a ticket they got. I absolutely wanted the cookie. This cookie is delicious.
Reminds me of the Eagle Center, and it said, things tell a story when people no longer can. And that's kind of appropriate for our store, because when you walk throughout the store, so many things spark a memory or a reminder of a family member or a place or a time long ago. And the antique and vintage decor that we have can really add some character and some conversation to your home, as well as bring back memories and things of times past.
Absolutely. What's the hours you're open?
We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5, and we usually stay late on the Saturdays for the car shows.
Social media?
So we have a Facebook page, Eagle Center Co-op.
And you're physically located where in downtown Elizabethton?
507 East Elk Avenue. It's in the second block of downtown. Hard to miss.
Yep.
First big building.
One of our great sponsors on Cyclone Football. Got to check them out. The good folks downtown. Eagle Center Co-op. I believe in the place, believe in her, believe in the facility, and be loyal, buy local, and buy it in Betsy. One of our great sponsors, Eagle Center Co-op in downtown Elizabethton.
We're proud to help our region move forward and help reopen every business we can.
And back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Big thanks again to our guest today as we're wrapping this thing up. Thanks to Andy Stanko, Sports Information Director of Milligan University. Thanks to Greg Sire talking Major League Baseball. He picked your American League East. This is what he picked, or who he picked, I should say. He picked to win the American League East, the Baltimore Orioles, and the Yankees will be second, Toronto third, Tampa Bay fourth, and the cellar dwellers again this year will be the Boston Red Sox. Interesting. We'll do we did the American League East today. We'll do the National League East next week. Pitchers and catchers report in about a month. I think it's 4 weeks from today, as a matter of fact, when spring training gets cranked up. Also on the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day, as we all know, also when qualifying begins for the Daytona 500. So NASCAR and Major League Baseball getting ready to start a new season here. We're in the middle of the National Hockey League, the NBA, the NFL, of course. So busy, busy time. The NCAA rocking along. Again, 4 upsets last night. 4. And so tonight, here's who's playing where. Top-ranked UConn will be hosting 18th-ranked Creighton. We'll let you know tomorrow how these all go. You have 5th-ranked Houston hosting 25th-ranked Texas Tech tonight. 8th-ranked Kentucky, the Wildcats at Rupp Arena hosting Mississippi State. Other top 25 games, number 22 Ole Miss at LSU. 15th-ranked Oklahoma hosting West Virginia. 13th-ranked Auburn traveling into Nashville to battle Vanderbilt tonight. 4th-ranked North Carolina, the Tar Heels hosting Louisville in Chapel Hill tonight. And 12th-ranked Arizona, the Wildcats hosting Southern Cal. So that's your top 25 college basketball for this Wednesday. Who was the birthdays today? James Earl Jones, 92. Let's see who else we had. James Earl Jones, 92. You had Steve Harvey, 66 today. Jim Carrey having a birthday, 61. Kid Rock's a birthday boy. Today's 52. Muhammad Ali had a birthday today. Of course, he's gone. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You can't hit what you can't see. Man, what a athlete. Cassius Clay into Muhammad Ali, changing his name, of course. So that's your birthdays. Tomorrow, tomorrow's big birthday. Gosh, I almost forgot today. Pastor Stout's having a birthday. If you know Pastor Stout, Bobby Stout, Pastor Emeritus from Pleasant Beach Baptist Church, is a birthday boy today. He's 81 years old. So happy birthday. I said, you want me to sing to you? He said, do you have to? He said, if you want to, you can. Well, I do. So stay warm. You too, Coach, down in Middle Tennessee, Coach Shipley. We're at 18 degrees right now. We got more snow coming in here tomorrow night into Friday and into Saturday. We got another storm coming. It's the wintertime, but again, look at next week, 50s and 60s here in the Tri-Cities, but next week. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Pastor Stout, 81 years old. Man, oh man, oh man. Do I think the world of that man? I do. Oh, he is awesome. The man he won't care that I tell you this, he has 21 stents in his heart. 21, still going. Not one stent, not 3, 21 stents. 81 years old. Talking about the Lord blessing him. And he'll tell you that. So the Lord's been so good to me. Pastored 43 years at Pleasant Beach. The Life Center, Fellowship Hall is named after him in his honor. So at Pleasant Beach. So happy birthday to Pastor Stout. I sang to him, got that over with because I'm terrible, but that's okay. The thought's what matters. 1 John 3:18 says, dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth. There you go. Don't talk the talk, walk the walk. Dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth. Good way to end it. Back tomorrow, we'll be at Lingerfield Drug Center, downtown Elizabethton, ready to go. We'll be there, Dr. Carter and all the folks. We'll be there looking forward to seeing you tomorrow on show number 2003. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Again, our guest today, Eddie Morrell, the wrestling coach at Elizabethton. Greg Sire talking Major League Baseball, broke down today's division picks for this week. He picked American League East to win it. Baltimore, second, New York. Third, Toronto. Tampa Bay, fourth. He picks Boston to finish in the cellar of the American League East for 2024, with Baltimore winning their American League East division, and we appreciate him being with us, talking about the American League East. And then we also say thanks to Andy Stanko getting us started today, the sports information director from Milligan University, talking hoops and bowling and swimming. See you back here tomorrow, Lingerfield Drug Center, where we're going to be broadcasting live. Until then, we'll tell you, as always, bloom where you plant it, and win or lose, be a good sport. Today's show brought to you by Chick-fil-A in Elizabethton. That is open until 9 o'clock tonight, the regular hour. So you stop by there, get something good to eat. Right now, today, big old bowl of chicken noodle soup from Chick-fil-A, or that chicken tortilla soup, got a little kick to it. The chicken noodle soup, only one person makes chicken noodle soup better than Chick-fil-A, and that's my late mama. She's been gone about 30 years, but she could flat make some chicken noodle soup. And she's right here, and Chick-fil-A's like right there, real close. It's that good. Today be a good day to go by there and get you some chicken noodle soup from Chick-fil-A. See you back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you tomorrow from Lingerfield Drug Center, downtown Elizabethton. Bloom where you're planted, and win or lose, be a good sport. Thanks for watching show number 2002 from the Tom